Hello there, and you're very welcome to another episode of the Arkham Avengers FFPL podcast. You join me, the host, along with Eamon, Hector, and Captain Fantastical Mick, where we take a look to see how the managers in this league are getting on for the season. However, we'll also be talking about much more. So kick back, stay tuned, and enjoy. Welcome to the show this week, where we're going to be taking a look to see how it all ended for the managers in the Arkham Avengers Fantasy Football Premier League. Yes, folks, it's that time of the year when we're going to announce who has won the trophy, who came in second, and who came in third. Now, of course, the Premiership is all over, and Man City, as we know, won it. There wasn't really much left up for grabs there. Possibly Spurs an outside chance for European football. But I suppose the action was in the relegation camp. Today, Eamon, Hector, and Captain Fantastical Mick are joining me. Eamon, if I start with you first, you got it right about who was going down out of the Premiership this year.
Yes, well, hello there, and it's very nice to be on the show. Yes, well, in fairness, I have to say, it was no big surprise to me to see Leeds and Leicester going down. Leeds, for a start, were shipping in too many goals. They have a terrible defensive record. They're like a sieve with water, goals going through there. You know, if you see that there, it was completely full of holes as such like that. And they needed a striker to try and balance it up. Bamford really hasn't been doing it, and there was nobody else to step up to the mark there. And I have to say, there's too much chopping and changing with managers also. That hasn't helped. There's no continuity. There's no flow. Every manager is coming in with their own agenda and where they see the team going for them and players also. When it comes to Leicester, well, they had quality, but I don't think all the players were on the same hymn sheet. And there seemed to be a lack of team effort with them. There seemed to be no respect for the jersey, as people would say. They just were there. They were putting in the minutes, but there was no heart. That's saddening to see that. Leicester would have expected probably to be staying in the Premiership for good 10, 15 years at least there. And it's going to be a difficult transition for them, I feel. There's going to be a lot of changes for both of these teams. And let's not beat around the bush. There'll be a lot of players departing. The effect that it would have for Leeds, well, I suppose the one positive out of all of the negative here is that there's probably less of the instability with Leeds than there was when they went down the previous time. Leicester have probably tightened up the money belt and the parachute payment. I heard it was about 70 million. Won't go very far. They have a very, very large wage bill. I think it's in and around 180 million. They're going to have to cull a lot there. But there are a lot of players who are out of contract and are going. And look, they're going to have to rebuild, I think. I wouldn't expect Leicester to be coming back up next season. I think they're probably going to have to rebuild. Probably the season after should be where they're aiming for there.
Or would you see Leeds coming back up?
A lot will depend. There's a lot of variables with Leeds. I mean, there's talk of the owners of the San Francisco 49ers buying Leeds out fully. They own a percentage of them. I believe it's 44%. And there's talks, but there was talks of buying Leeds when they were in the Premiership. Now that they're relegated, this is a different story.
Mick, you're very welcome. You have something to add?
I do, yes, I do. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Look, we also have to factor in that there's 3 teams coming up here from the Championship. You've got Burnley's coming back up. Nice to see them coming. I like Burnley. Sheffield United and Luton Town. Luton a big surprise, and I think they're going to be they're going to be like Brentford. They're going to be a dogged team that's going to be very tough.
Yes, indeed, some new blood into the Premiership there. Lads, Everton escaped relegation just by the skin of their teeth, really, as such there. And there's a lot of talk that they're going to have a lot of work to do here. Are there any other teams, or is there another team out there that you think should be looking over their shoulder?
Look, Everton for me are in a mess. Everton they're by no means comfortable, and they don't instill me with much confidence, I have to say. There, Bournemouth could suffer the second-year syndrome in the Premier League and drop out. This wouldn't be unknown. Teams have a good first year and then a disastrous second year there. I also think that one of the teams is coming up will go down. They're not going to all stay up there.
Okay, Hector, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you all doing?
We're good. We're good. Any thoughts on this?
When I look at and analyze the last matches of the day, I think that it will be, as Eamon say, Everton have a lot of work to do, and they may not survive next year. I think West Ham be a team that we need to regroup. It would be interesting. They play a match in Europe and they could get silverware, and that might be the booster to give them get them back on track there. David Moyes does very well with them. I have to say, I have great time for him. He is very good. He is a down-to-earth, humble manager. I think Sheffield United probably have to do a lot of work. Can I add in, of course, the Brighton and the whole Albion, how this team have performed this year. They finished in 6th place. They had some big achievement. Roberto De Zerbi has done a fantastic job, and I look forward to them seeing in Europe playing. It's going to be really exciting, I think. It's going to be great stuff. And I also wanted to add in that the Eddie Howe, he do a great job at Newcastle. See how Newcastle have risen there. They were in trouble last season before, not great, and now they're in Champions League. See how fickle, as Eamon would say, the world of football can go. One moment you're up high, the next moment you're down low. But it's great to see it.
And can I just say, it's great to see managers and teams like Newcastle and Brighton up there in the top 6. When you consider that Tottenham and Chelsea, they're not going to be very happy with their season.
Well, in fairness, I don't think either of those clubs have anything really to gripe about, because they really have made a mess of their season, haven't they? It's just been a disaster from one disaster to another with Chelsea. And let's face it, Spurs haven't done themselves any favour either. And yet, Harry Kane hit 30 goals. I mean, among all of the kerfuffle that's going on there, because let's face it, Spurs have been hit and miss, and you need a team functioning. But he's done well. And of course, all the talk is, where will he go to? Will he go? Well, I think he probably will go, because it's time to win some silverware. Right, we'll move on, and it's time to take a look at Game Week 37 for our own league here. Now, the highest points were 138. The average points came in at 52. Up to first place. We have a new manager in first place. He was in second position last week. It's Kane the Kepa with 80 points. Eamon, can I hand this one over to you?
They had one transfer this game week. Fernandes was their captain and got 22 points. And the rest of the players who chipped in with the points were Haaland had 6, McAllister has another 6 points, Rashford had 7 points, Matoma had 7 points, Salah came in with 5 points, Trippier had 9 points, and Shaw had 10 points. And on the bench, they had Botman from Newcastle with 8 points. We did ask in our last episode how this manager would react. We were interested to see what they were going to do with their strategy, how they would develop this. They had a very good captain choice with Fernandes, especially he had a double game week. And as we have said, sometimes they don't pay off, but the donkey has come good there. The midfield looked very solid. And I think the manager here is now putting it up to Taiga to come up with a response. What can you do for game week 38, the last game week of our season?
And speaking of Taiga then, so they were in first place and they're down to second. They had 68 points. Mick, can I ask you for a comment on this?
Well, Taiga had, as you said, 68 points. And they had 2 transfers and they lost 4 points there. Went for Haaland, who got, as the captain, he got 12 points. And I suppose it aided there in the points department. Rashford got 7. Mahrez got 5 points. Salah got 5 points. McAllister got 6 points. Matoma got 7 points. Shaw 10 points. And De Gea, the goalkeeper, had 10 points. They also had Botman on the bench with 8 points. Of the transfers made, De Gea, the goalkeeper, is a good move. Stupian came in for Trippier, and that equation there, that move, they lost 5 points on that there. So, look, it's not a bad result. The captain was all right, I think. But the issue was they didn't make enough points this week. And this is game week 37. They're 1 point behind Kane the Kepa. So there's 1 point between first and second. And it's all down to nerves.
Who's going to hold their nerves now? This is it.
There's no change either then in third place with Lafayette Lions. 72 points. Hector. They had 3 transfers and lost the 4 points. They had Salah as the captain, 10 points. And the other big hitters on their team were Alvarez for 9 points. Haaland had 6 points. Fernandes had 11 points. Mitoma had 7 points. Shaw came in with 10 points. And De Gea, the goalkeeper, he also had the 10 points. The captain selection, Salah, okay, he had the 10 points. Although there were other players there who could have done better, brought him more points. But, that's okay. I was talking when you see the results there. It is a strong result. Let's not take nothing away here. This is a strong result. 72 points. The manager is saying, I'm not going quietly. You take third place from me. Now in fourth place, no change either there, is Arkham Avengers. 76 points, Eamon.
Yes, the spoofer had 2 transfers this week and lost 4 points. They also went for Haaland as the captain and got 12 points. And they were aided on the scoreboard by Alvarez, who got 9 points. Fernandes had 11 points. Salah had 5 points. Mitoma came in with 7 points. McAllister had 6 points. Shaw had 10 points. They also had De Gea as the goalkeeper for 10 points. They matched Lafayette Lions in the captain department. Even Stevens there. And this manager structured a team to get those extra points in the double game weeks as such that pop up. There's an extra couple of 4 points there, and it's putting them right in the mix for taking third place. The spoofer, for some unknown reason, it's like a dog with a bone and not giving up this season. And it's a good performance from them. They are sticking it out here.
There's no change in fifth place. The good, the bad, and the goalie. 69 points, Hector. They had the 3 transfers. They lost the 4 points. They also went for Haaland as the captain and got 12 points. The rest of the players were Enchisho, he got 8 points. Mitoma had 7 points. Salah had 5 points. Fernandes had 11 points. Lindelof came in with 8 points. Shaw had 10 points. And Stupian, he chipped in with 4 points. They took gamble with the transfers, especially when they were losing 4 points because they were very close to third place. They didn't quite get them the points that they needed to close in. They have slipped a little bit between the Arkham Avengers and the Lafayette Lions. And the expectations now are dictating that there's a really big ask for them to get a super result in Gameweek 38. They're not out of it. Let's not say nothing here. They're not out, but they're not singing on the way to the post office or to the bank just yet. No change either then in 6th place with best season ever, 54 points. Mick.
Well, they had 1 transfer this week, and they also went for Haaland as the captain. He got 12 points. Aided in the points department here. They got Kane, who got 7 points. McAllister at 6 points. Tom at 7 points. Trippier at 9 points. And the goalkeeper, he got 10 points there. The captain choice, okay, he went for Haaland. That's okay. And like many managers, he stuck with him there. But I think at this point of the season, we could have expected that they'd opt for somebody else there. They're lacking a little bit of firepower, I think, in this team, and especially the last couple of weeks, they really haven't been in gear at all. And I have to say, I think they're out of the top 5 at this point. I can't see them getting in.
Yeah, but I suppose 54 points really isn't helping them there. Eamon, you wanted to add something?
I think way with Mick, I think that they're out of the running for 5th place here. They made a good stab at it. They looked like they were going to get 5th place or get into the top 5 at one point, but they have petered out.
Now, there's no change either in 7th place with Blightsome squad, 52 points. Eamon.
They had 3 transfers and lost 4 points, and they played a triple captain this game week, and they opted for Gundogan, who got a total of 6 points. The question is here, who did manage to get a few points? Well, Martial had 8, Mahrez had 5 points, Salah had 5, Shaw had 10, and Trippier had 9 points. The punt on Gundogan, I feel, was taken based on game week 35 and game week 36 with the results that Gundogan were getting, but it's backfired. It's failed in this week here. It's always a gamble, though, when you're coming to Man City, and there's always the rotation. There's always, will they play a full game? At this rate, I think they're going to do well to hold 7th place.
No change either then in 8th place with Raglan Road, 52 points. Mick.
They had 3 transfers as well, and they lost 4 points. Now they also played a triple captain. That blacked some Raglan playing triple captain. Is it me who's a little bit late in the season for playing triple captains here?
Well, I suppose it depends, isn't it, on the game weeks, and perhaps there's a double game week that caught the eye.
Yeah, I suppose there is that, but I think I'd have been playing a triple captain a couple of weeks earlier. But anyway, back to the team here. Haaland was the captain, 18 points. And joining him on the points board are Kane with 7 points, Rashford at 7 points, and Stupian was there with 4 points. On the bench, the goalkeepers, Navas at 9 points. Benasta got that 9 points on the board. And they feel a little bit better with their triple captain than the Blackton squad here. But I think the rest of the team, they look like a shambles. 5 of those players out there only managed to get 2 points. 2 of those players only managed to get 3 points. This manager, without a doubt, is going to be really disappointed. This is 2 weeks in a row that they've not performed and not done what they needed to do. And I'm sure he's throwing hair dryers and cups of coffee in the dressing room with this carry on.
There's no change then in 9th place with maximum effort, 44 points. Hector, would you like to talk about this team? They had 3 transfers as well, and they had lost the 4 points. Haaland was the captain who got 12 points, and the rest of the players who managed to get half-decent points were the Botman, who had 8 points, and Trippier, who had the 9 points. The transfers here for White, got 2 points. Gundogan got 2 points, and Watkins did not get any points. The 3 transfers did not work out. And the question here is to ask, you make the transfer, you want to get benefit. They did not get benefit. Why is this? Perhaps maybe it's the lack of practice in the transfer market that's now starting to show for this manager. Okay, that's an interesting thought. So basically what you're saying is because they haven't been that active with transfers, it's now starting to tell on them that when they go to make a transfer, they're opting for the wrong players. That is it exactly. You get it right on Egg Cup. Yes. Right. Yeah. Okay. No change either then in 10th place. What a beauty. 99. Eamon.
They had 53 points. They had no transfers. Surprise, surprise. Trippier was the captain and got 18 points. Now, the other lads who were bringing in the points were Haaland for 6 points. Rashford had 7 points. Byrne had 8 points, and the goalkeeper Pope had 6 points. I don't know about this manager, but I certainly can't wait for the season to be over, so I don't have to talk. I look at this skedaddly team, this skedaddly manager again.
And as for the rest of the table, there's no change in 11th. Kalish Bate got 35 points. Real No Stars got 27 points. Silverstroke got 8 points. Better Idea 22, 23 at 25 points. We'll move game week 37 off to one side, and now game week 38, the final game week of the season. The highest points were 121, and the average points came in at 40 points. Our league table ended like this, and what we're going to do is we're going to start at the bottom of the table and work back to see who won. Are we ready, lads?
Yes, I'm certainly ready. Yes, go on, take it away there, host.
In 14th place, no change. Better Idea 22-23, 24 points. They didn't have any transfers. No change either then in 13th place, Silverstroke 28 points and no transfers. No change in 12th place. Real No Stars 39 points and no transfers. And no change either in 11th place with Kalish Bate 59 points. They had no transfers. The top 10, no change in 10th place with What a Beauty 99, 32 points. Eamon, what's the thoughts on this result?
They had no transfers. We're not surprised, of course, with this. And Trippier was left as the captain and didn't get any points because of the dismal result. Watkins, though, did manage to get 9 points. Me picked up 6 points and Saka picked up 6 points. And that's it. The rest of the team are just mixed up with 1 and 2 and no points. Really just seem to have fallen apart here. If I was to describe this manager, I would say they're like the chair in a corner. You see the chair, you can visualize the chair, you know the chair can do something, and you walk on by because it's not doing anything for you, it's not engaging you, you don't want to have anything to do with it. I have one word to sum up this season for this manager. I don't even say this manager challenge this season because they didn't challenge anything. But my one word is for their season is dreadful.
There's no change either in 9th place with maximum effort, 36 points. Mick, what about this team?
They didn't have any transfers either. They opted for Haaland as the captain, and he didn't play. And they didn't have any vice captain. They had Watkins with 9 points, and Saka had 6 points. White had 6 points, and the goalkeeper Ray also had 6 points. I think it's pretty poor when you haven't got a vice captain. It's one thing to select a player to be a captain. He doesn't play, but if you haven't got a cover for him, I have to ask the question, what are you doing?
Or perhaps the case, what is it that you're not doing? And this is what's been going on here with this manager for so long. They haven't been doing anything.
Okay, man. Okay, let's hear Mick out.
Well, I have to say, I think this has been a non-season effort. They've had no major impact. Yeah, they look to me like they're more of an observer in this league rather than a manager who's trying to compete in it. You just seem to be sitting there looking at this league going by, and okay, they might dip their toe in every so often and make a transfer, but there's no commitment to it. It's certainly not a hobby, and I don't know what it is. It's like, I've got to do this now, and here we go. And look, sometimes it's better to say nothing. And I think in my case, I'm not going to say any more. I've said enough at the moment.
Now we have a new team that dropped down to 8th place from last week's 7th. Blightsome squad. 34 points. Hector. They had the one transfer. Their captain this week was Salah, who got 10 points. And the other players of note who managed to pick up points with them were Watkins at 9 points and Gabriel at 6 points. They will be bigly, greatly, is it? Yes, that is it. That is the word they were looking for. They will be greatly disheartened to have dropped down into 8th place. But, this season just does not work for them, and they will be happy to close the door on this season. They did not seem to get, the breaks that managers get, the players get. There's always a little bit of a break. Did you do something and it pays off? This does not seem to sit with the manager. It was like they chug, stop, chug, stop. Okay, all right, yeah. What's this chugging business? Well, it's like the car. You have the car and it's not going right. You stop, it start, stop, and start. This is what I see their season. Okay, so you're comparing their season to a car that's not going properly, that's chugging along.
For the love of everything, I thought we were away from all of this, and now we're back to this sort of. Hector, could you not just say that you thought that their season didn't really get going, that it stalled several times? They did start to get a run, but it stalled again. Could you not have said that?
Well, I said that in my own way, man. Okay, lads, well, we'll move along here. As a result of Blightsome squad going down up to 7th, it's Raglan Road with 62 points. Eamon, do you want to talk about this result for this manager here?
They had one transfer. They opted for Kane as their captain and got 32 points. And following on the points board here, along with Kane, was Kepa at 6 points. Tarkowski had 8 points. White had 6 points. That's it. Kane saved this manager's season with that result. That was a good captain choice. Let's leave that there as it was. However, there's a lot of poor players here. There was a lot of poor players here last week. There was a lot of poor players here the week before. This manager didn't address the shambles that's sitting in that team there. And it is a little bit like some of these managers, they seem to have lost their mojo. They were on track. I mean, this manager, we spoke to them and said that their intention was a top 5 finish. They're missing a little link there. The learning experience of this year will be of benefit to them. And they'll be more battle-hardened for next season as a result of this. A little bit more consistency. See them nicely getting through this league and getting through the season.
Now, there's no change in 6th place with best season ever, 54 points. Mick.
They had one transfer. They had Haaland as the captain, but Haaland didn't play. They did have a vice captain. And this is what I said, it's important to have a vice captain, and that was Alexander-Arnold, who had 8 points. The rest of the team who picked up points were Kane for 16, Kepa was there with 6 points, Tarkowski had 8 points, and the goalkeeper De Gea had 7 points. This manager was challenging at one point to get into the top 5. Well, that challenge fizzled out over the last number of weeks, and not quite sure what's going on there. I think there'll be a little bit of soul searching going on with this manager, just to think about how that season's gone there. A bit like what we were talking about there with Raglan. they do seem to have looked like they lost their way over the season. They were pushing, they were moving, and the next thing there's nothing. But this isn't the end for them. It's certainly not the best season ever, that's for sure. And they might have to think about changing that name.
There's no change then in 5th place with the good, the bad, and the goalie. Eamon, do you want to talk about this?
This manager managed 41 points this week. They had one transfer and they opted for Salah as the captain. They got 10 points. And they also had Fernandes on the pitch who got 10 points. Alexander-Arnold got 4 points. And their goalkeeper, Ramsdale, got 6 points. It could have been a better captain choice, but of course, we're talking hindsight there. They've gone out on a limp here. It fizzled out. No more than best season ever here. They've been snuffed out in this game. With 41 points is not great. It looks like to me just somebody who half-heartedly decided to do a transfer here. And they seemed to have run out of steam over the last few weeks. They were so close to 3rd place. And to fall away like this, the manager won't be happy. And I'm sure over the coming weeks they're going to do a lot of reflecting. They're going to do a lot of thinking and contemplating on what went wrong and how to fix it.
Okay, so we have a new team who have dropped into 4th place. It's Lafayette Lions, 54 points. They had 4 transfers. Hector, what happened here? Yes, as you said, they had the 4 transfers and they lost, minus 12 points. Gabriel came in, he got 6 points. Henry went out, he got 7 points. Castagni came in, he got 2 points. Shaw went out, no point. Harrison came in with 8 points. And Grealish went out, he had no points. McNeil came in, he had 3 points, and Matoma went out, he had 1 point. They decided to captain the guy Isaac for 4 points, and the rest of the notable players who were getting the points, of course, were the Harrison, 8 points, Salah, 5 points, Fernandes, 10 points, Gabriel, 6 points, White had the 6 points, and the goalkeeper, De Gea, had 7 points, and on the bench, they had me with 6 points. The captain choice, for me, is a big letdown. I think they took gamble with Isaac, but it didn't work. And the transfers are costly, and in my book, they did not work out as expected. And I think they were taking a loss on this. Going back to the captain, they have had issues with their captain selection before, and we have spoken on this. It's something that they're going to have to really sit down and think about what they're doing with their captain, because that has cost them. That and the transfers have cost them this season. As a result of their dropping down into 4th, up to 3rd, is Arkham Avengers with 59 points. Mick.
They had 2 transfers and they had mass 4 points of losses of that. Ajay came in for 2 points. McAllister went out for 2 points. Kane came in for 16 points and Allen went out for no points. They went for Salah as the captain and got 10 points. Of course, Kane at 16 points. Me had 6 points. Fernandes at 10 points. Alexander-Arnold had 4 points. And the goalkeeper, De Gea, had 7 points. It certainly was a smart move bringing Kane in, putting Haaland out there. The other transfer really didn't do that much, but look, you got 2 points all the same. I think this manager, what stood to them is they had the necessary players on the bench who substituted and coming in and were able to make that impact and bringing the points with them there. So the captain choice, Salah has probably just done enough for this game week. And look, it's well done. Fair play to them there.
Eamon, you of course had said that this manager was down and out. Their season was finished some weeks ago. You said this, and now they're in 3rd place.
They certainly are. Yes, they have done well. It's a great result for the Swoofer. They've done well, and yeah, look, they may bask in the glory of 3rd place.
We only have 1st and 2nd place left. This is it. In 2nd place, Taiga, 51 points. Hector, would you like to talk about this? They had the 2 transfers and they lost 4 points on this. The captain was Salah for 10 points, and the other points of the notice came from the players like the Kane, who had the 16 points, Alexander-Arnold had the 4 points, and the goalkeeper, De Gea, he had the 7 points. I think had they gone for Kane, they would have had an extra few nice points coming in. They put out the Haaland, which was good, and they brought in the Odegaard for 3 points, and the Matoma went out, but they only got the 1 point. But as I said, I think the thing might have been a little bit different with the captaincy choice. But let's take nothing away here. This is their first season as a manager in this league. They have performed really well. They should be happy with where they finished. They got 2nd place. And I think they'll be a strong contender for next season. And they're going to have learned a lot. Okay, and of course, that leaves first place, no change. Kane's Kepa, 63 points. Eamon, what's your thoughts on this here?
They had 2 transfers and lost 4 points. They did bring in Kane for 16 points. They put Haaland out. They brought Rodrigo in for 2 points and Matoma went out for 1 point. And they opted for Kane as the captain. I got 32 points here. And the other players of note here who were worth a mention were Fernandes, 10 points. Salah, 5 points. And Alexander-Arnold got 4 points there. The captaincy selection was excellent. It was a good choice. They held their nerve. They went with Kane. And having said that, the rest of the players, apart from the ones we've mentioned, were very average, below average in places here. They certainly didn't go out with a bang this season here. They finished and they've done enough to retain the title, and that's all they had to do. And congratulations to them. They've done well.
Indeed, they have there. So, listeners, that's how it all finished for the 22-23 season. I'd like to just take a moment to thank all our managers and thank them for taking part in the league. I know, and Eamon, you're pulling a face here at me, that some of the managers just seem to have gone off the radar, or they're below the radar, they're not doing anything. But they did take time and they put a team in and they got points there now. And we have discussed this before and we can come back to it during the summer. But for the moment, let's just thank them for taking part. For our winner, of course, Kane's Kepa, we have to congratulate them there. They've done the double here. They won last season, they have won again, and surely at this point, they must be thinking, could they do 3 in a row here? That would be something, wouldn't it, lads?
Yes, I think it would be. It's hadn't actually thought too much about them doing the double there, but fair play to them.
And also, well done to Taiga. It's their first season, but they did push Kane's Kepa for first place there. And I think they look like a manager for the future there. And they're certainly going places, in my view, here. And finally, of course, the Arkham Avengers. They're an old dog in this league here. They've been knocking around for a couple of years here. And despite everything, they've defied all odds and they've taken third place, even though they were wrote off and they've been much aligned by you, Eamon.
Well, look, this is the spoofer who manages to implode most seasons. But they've learned, and I'd be very interested to see what they can do next season now with this, because this is okay. Kane's Kepa have retained the title. What are they going to do next season? Because I have a feeling that Taiga will up the ante. I would say that Jerry will be back. He might not be back with the good, the bad, with the goalie team there, but he will be back. I'd expect that Roberto, he might not be back with best season ever, but he should be back there. Blyton will look to reimpose themselves as a serious manager here. Raglan will be knocking about as well here. Will they apply what they've learned is another thing. And it'll be dependent on if we get any other managers coming in. It's debatable whether the managers down the bottom end of the table. Silverstroke might do something. I think perhaps Silverstroke probably came in a little late and maybe were overwhelmed with it. And maybe this is a learning path for them that okay, they want to see what other managers are doing and to learn from that. And there's nothing to be taken away from that there. But yes, but I'm going back to what you were saying, the spoofer being much maligned. They do have a habit of shooting themselves in the front, and they are open. It's open season with the spoofer a lot of the time. But I have to say, congratulations to the spoofer. They've done really well. They had faffed about. Their season looked like they were in trouble, but they have turned it round, and that's no mean feat, because when you're up against seasoned players who have won this competition, who have come in the top 3, who are knowledgeable and have the experience, who can make the changes and make the differences for their team, when you're up against them and you manage to get yourself into third place, you're doing something right.
Okay, thank you very much for that there, Eamon. Hector, have you a Hector's hello to sign off the show this week?
I have, yes. I always have the Hector's hellos here.
Okay, right. Do you want to chat away there?
Okay. Hello there, and a very warm welcome to Hector's Hellos. I would like to say a big hello and a big thank you to all our listeners who are in Iran, Frankfurt on Main in Germany, Austria, Spain, in India, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, London, Liverpool, Newcastle, Brazil. Hi, Mom. We got to the end of the season again. The party time now. Hope to see you in a few weeks' time. Then we have, where was I there now? I had Brazil, didn't I? Yes.
Oh, fuck. Look, there. You were there, see?
Oh, thank you. Yes, Eamon, thank you.
Chile, Argentina, Los Angeles, San Francisco. Our listeners in New York. We have listeners in Florida, Nixon, Missouri, Vancouver, Dublin, Donegal, Longford, Cavan, Monaghan, Mayo, Galway, Carlow, Cork, and the Westmeath. And that is all our listeners. And as always, thank you and a warm welcome and a nice day to you from Hector's Hellos. Thank you very much for that there, Hector. Okay, gentlemen, that's the football all finished. We can take a break, or can we?
I don't know. What's the plan now? Are we going to do anything else now? Are we going to sit down, maybe watch a movie or something like that?
Certainly not sitting down and watching a movie. I've had enough movies now for a while. Could we just concentrate on the football? Might I make a suggestion, host?
Indeed, Eamon, yes.
Could we perhaps maybe do a recap on our managers? Maybe not all of them, but on our managers. And what's the story with the interviews?
Eamon, I like your thinking because, yes, we are going to have a look at the season for some of our managers, do a recap on that there, and we'll go through the stats and the ups and downs of their teams there. So we'll be looking at that over the next couple of episodes. We also are working on interviews. So we are lining up an interview with Kane's Kepa. That's going to be coming up hopefully next month. And we will see if we can get an interview with Taiga. Arkham Avengers manager has been on the show again, so hopefully they will come back. And we'll see who of the rest of the managers would like to come on. I'm sure perhaps maybe Jerry might come on. Blyton might come on. We may get Raglan Road back on again there as well. And if any of the managers who we haven't spoken to would like to be interviewed, just get in contact with us there. Perhaps maybe we might be able to get something with Silverstroke. It'd be nice to get the input of one of the new managers. So that's all ahead of us there. Of course, look, we will be talking football. We'll be probably keeping an eye on the transfers as well to see what teams are doing. Mick, there'll be plenty to talk about. And Hector, of course, is going back to Brazil for a couple of weeks, so we won't have Hector.
That's okay. Hector, you could always, when the season starts, if you didn't get back, you could always ring in your comments.
What do you mean if I didn't get back? Why wouldn't I not get back?
You might decide that the weather in Brazil is nicer than over here.
No, Eamon, I have to say I like you over here. I would not be in the studio then.
Yes, that's right. You would not be in the studio. But look, go back home and enjoy yourself. And don't be in any rush coming back, okay?
Okay, Eamon. Thank you. Yeah, I will enjoy it. I would like to thank Mick, Hector, Eamon for taking part in this season. I think you have added great quality comments, the banter, the crack, the chats, the minor arguments that you might have had at times. It's all added to the element of the show. And I think I certainly have enjoyed listening to the conversation, the words going back and forth between you three at times there. And I hope that you'll all be back next season and we will be able to continue on with talking football, but also touching on other things. And Eamon, maybe you might have a little more Eamon tackles for us.
Yeah, well, I probably could have a little bit more. As I said, sometimes I don't want to be coming across and bringing the tone of the show down. Leave that to Mick and Hector.
What do you mean? I don't bring the tone of the show down. What's that got to do with anything?
I suppose, look, we've had a very busy season. When you think about everything that's been the movie nights, we've had Songs of Praise and we had the big Mystery Man in My Due. Went on for quite a while.
Don't mention that.
And we had a couple of interviews with our managers as well. Look, anyways, what I want to just say is thank you very much. I appreciate everything that you do for the show.
Thank you. And can I just say that I think I speak for my colleagues here that we appreciate everything that you do for the show. Also, we understand you do a lot of work in preparing the show and then you are engaged in editing the show and getting it out there for our listeners. So can I just say thank you for that, and it's appreciated everything you do.
Thank you, Eamon, for that. Thank you. Okay, that's it. So, listeners, we have come to the end of the season. The football's finished. There's FA Cup is to come and Champions League. So we might touch a little bit on that there. And really, all that remains for me to say here now is we hope that you have a good day and enjoy the rest of the week. Remain safe, stay well, and thank you for joining us on this journey this season. We appreciate your listening. We appreciate your comments. And if anybody who does want to get in touch with us or is thinking, maybe contemplating that they would like to put a team in for next season, send us an email at arkhamavengers@gmail.com and we make contact with you with regards to that. And so I'd like to just take this opportunity to, again, thank you for joining us. And I'd like to wish you a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, a good night. Wherever you are in the world, stay safe, look after yourselves, and we will be back. Slán.